Everyone was wide-eyed. It was unbelievable. You know, a lot of those young pitchers were topping out at about 80 mph, and here was this guy throwing 98 mph. Talk about major league standards. After several checks, he aced the test without a hitch. But to join the big leagues, Jim had to say goodbye to his job and life, and follow the team around to play in every league imaginable. Thus, his monthly paycheck is just $600, barely enough. A heart-wrenching choice for a middle-aged man. Clearly, no one at home was cheering for his big league dreams, but thankfully his persistence won his wife's support. She was willing to bear life's burdens, his rock on his dream journey. Next day, Jim bid the kids farewell one by one. He packed and flew to Florida to join the minor leagues. This was his dream start, but Jim was welcome initially. His teammates mocked him, even mispronouncing his name when he stepped onto the field. The director turned the camera to a remote car race, cruel jeers damping Jim's mood. He managed to throw a wild pitch right out of the gate, and the boos were deafening. To spare his wife, Jim fibbed, saying everything was fine and teammates loved him. He wove all the heckling into a tapestry of cheers, but after hanging up, he felt a whirlwind of emotions. However, Jim was a quick adapter, and after a few games, he began to hit his stride. He threw several fastballs, striking out batters, but with coach's approval, Jim was still far from his dream. Reality check. Minor league wages didn't exactly cover the living expenses for a family of 5. While other players chatted away with their distant girlfriends, Jim was busy tutoring his son. His son asked when they'd make it to the big leagues, but Jim was at a loss for words, especially when his wife warned about their financial troubles. The landlord took back their furniture. Facing these harsh realities, Jim had to reconsider his situation. He wondered how he could ever catch the big league's attention, or if this was all a big mistake. Maybe Dad was right on dreams, wanting, and doing are two different beasts. He realized he isn't showcasing his skills on the big stage, but being hailed as some media darling. He spent all day doing interviews about his dream pursuit, which irked his teammates who felt he hogged the spot for a skilled player. Until one game, he saw father-son pair in the crowd, unleashing uncontrollable homesickness. He realized his wife's many sacrifices, so after much thought, he decided to talk to her. The idea of heading home lingered, but his wife encouraged him to keep chasing his love for the game. Jim saw his own interview playing at the bar. The way he spoke about baseball was full of passion. He hadn't even realized how ingrained it had become in his life. He knew every step he took was supported by his family, who believed in him no matter what. This game is my true love, aside from my wife Lori. I've loved the sport since forever, and Jim fine-tuned himself to peak performance. In the next few games, he struck out everyone, showing just how formidable he really was. He helped the team win. His wife knew his determination. The kids were proud. The crowd cheered. His teammates' respect grew. Just then, the boss approached seriously. He was summoned to the office. The moment of truth had arrived as the selection results from the majors were in. His dreams were closer than ever. All it took was time and perseverance. He rushed to share the news with his wife, telling her to get his jacket to Arlington Stadium, Stat. His wife was over the moon and had always believed Jim could do it, and she called their eldest son over to celebrate. In the eyes of their loyal little fan, Jim was shining brighter than ever. The kids printed flyers overnight. They hit the streets at midnight, determined to rally everyone to support their coach. And this plan worked. Everyone in town was coming out to support the coach's big league debut. But as everyone awaited Jim's return to the stadium, the grand architecture became a sight. Standing on the land of dreams, Jim was overwhelmed as he gazed at the glorious uniform in the locker. That necklace, like a guardian of dreams, shimmered like a star, brightening his world. After countless days and nights of hard work, his dreams came true. Outside, Jim kept training. Getting ready for the game, the sound of baseball slicing through the air echoed in the stadium. The coach wore a satisfied smile. There's no doubt he was the star they had been looking for. Just as he took a break, a familiar voice rang out from the stands. Jim looked up and was surprised to see his wife. Though it had only been a few months, it felt like ages. Her smile was the brightest star in his heart. Jim tightly held his wife's hand, tears welling up as he gazed at them. In that moment, all the sacrifices and sweat felt so worth it. He reluctantly said goodbye to his wife and kids. He knew they were his entire motivation. The kids arrived at the scene with popcorn and snacks before the game. They finally understood the meaning of the coach's words, chase your dreams for broader horizons. As the Asian relief pitcher, Jim might not even get a chance to play. If the opposing team had overwhelming power, the game could end early. Conversely, if both teams were evenly matched, they might call in the relief pitcher for a showdown. Subscribe, please.